share this with you. I have a dear friend who I'm sure you all know, Rabbi Leda, and Leda loves the Igris. He loves the River's letters, and he's accustomed to darting around with a letter to show me, and really savors it like somebody savors wine. And he showed me a letter this week, and I thought, because of the Ashkocha Protis of it, we'd talk about it in the Shir, because it fits together with the Maimah that we're going to be learning for LECH-LECHA, for this week's Parsha, which I'll come to in a moment. But if I summarize the letter says this. It's a letter written by a shoichet to the Rebbe in the early years, in the 60s, and the dilemma of the shoichet is this, that his father has just died, and he has... Did Leda show you this letter? I don't know if you were in shul, but when he was carrying it around. But anyway, so this shoichet's father had just died, and he was employed in a place where there was no minyan to daven in the morning, and although he had two brothers who were obviously saying Kaddish for the father, his dilemma was whether he should stay in that job and maintain his livelihood, or resign from the job and go to a city where he could spend the next 11 months saying Kaddish for his father. And he wrote into the Rebbe and asked him what he should do. And so you might want to ponder that. I'm going to ask, I'll tell you the answer after the Shir, because I'm hoping the Shir is going to give you some insight into it. But I want to start by saying this. This is Parshas LECH-LECHA, which is the third Sedra in the Torah. And the first Sedra is BREISHIS, where Hashem creates Gashmias, physicality. And there's the whole philosophical, knotty problem of what that really means, because we have a contradiction. And this is common in Chassidus. I've mentioned it many times in the Shurim. But simply put, it goes like this. We have three pieces of Torah that we live by. One is that there are no contradictions in Torah. Two is that that leaves you with a problem when you get an apparent contradiction. So in this particular situation, we have this apparent contradiction, that we have a piece of Torah that says that Hashem is Hashem, ein oid milvadoi, which means there is nothing besides God. So what does it mean there's nothing besides God? You go to the next pasuk, BREISHIS bara Elokim es hashamayim ve'es, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Did he create something, or didn't he create something? If he created something, then what about ein oid milvadoi, that there's nothing else but God? If he didn't create something separate from himself, then what's the whole story of the creation about? Is the Torah telling a lie? Is it exaggerating? So that gets resolved by a lot of learning, a lot of Chassidus, a lot of Kabbalah. But in essence, that's what BREISHIS, the first Sedra, is really about. And we haven't got time to do that because we're doing LECH-LECHA. The next Sedra is Parshas Noach, in which, as I said last week, and there isn't a recording of it, but so I'll summarize one aspect of it. The issue of man's achievement is first mapped out. In other words, when a man lives his 60, 70, 80, 120 years, what does he achieve and what is the pathway, to his achievement? And we learned that the first basic tenet of this is Yuridat Sarikalia, that in order for there to be an ascent, there has to be first a descent. Why did God make the world that way? We don't understand that, but the pattern is dark followed by light, not light followed by dark. I'm sorry, light is followed by dark, not dark followed by light. So when we go back to BREISHIS, Vayihi Erev Vayihi Boker Yom Echad, it was evening, it was morning one day, that is the Seder. The order is dark to light. And Parshas Noach is about the fact that the waters of Noach are called Mei Noach, which means the waters of comfort. The word Noach means comfort. And although the Alter Rebbe explains that that's the moshel for earning a living, which is a turbulent, difficult business, notwithstanding that, if you run to the words of, because Teva also means a word, Teva means an ark, but it also means a word. You run to the words of Torah and carry out the mitzvahs, and that is your pathway to success. So that's laid out in the second. So this is unnecessary to say, but I'll say it for completeness because of the tape. Obviously, there are millions of inyonim in each of these sedras, because just as Hashem controls the world in every mind-boggling aspect, from 400 billion galaxies to the microbes under your fingernail that you were talking about before, and there all these billions of variables and which are all controlled by Hashem and are just beyond our ability to even begin to think how to control them. So too it is that in every Sedra there are billions of inyonim which we could take one Sedra and learn it for the rest of our lives, and start at the age of 3 and learn every day and every night and just learn one Sedra, and you never repeat yourself. I mean, that's how complex Torah is. However, having said that, one of the main big subjects of Parshas Noach is that that Hashem has chosen to orchestrate the world in a way that success comes out of difficulty, and I told you some magic, or I told the Shia some magic last week, that in Hebrew the shorish, the root of each Hebrew word is 3 letters, and it's one of the basic tenets of mysticism in Torah that those letters can be rearranged, and every time they are rearranged, what comes out is related. It has something to do with it. And in Parshas Noach, I'm just going to say this quickly because it's relevant to what we're going to be learning. Rashi